Welcome to Spirited Straight Talk, the podcast to help you thrive with the help of spirit. I'm Deb Sheppard, psychic medium, spiritual teacher, and author. Each week, I bring new insights to help you heal from loss, connect with spirit, and turn setbacks into triumphs. So let's get started. Well, Dana, I am so glad I didn't know who I was really talking to or giving a reading for, because I think otherwise I would have been so nervous I wouldn't have been able to do this reading.
I agree.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I was asked by a good friend, hey, I think it would be awesome for your listeners to listen to a reading with this lady named Cleo Parker Robinson. And I'm like, that name sounds a little familiar. Yeah, I think I've heard of that name. She said, well, her husband recently died, but she's well connected. And I think her session could really help others. And
she was in need of healing.
Yeah.
And connection and
her husband was just a great icon to someone here in Colorado and a great love. They'd been together for a really long time. And I said, sure, why not? Well, as we're sitting down doing the reading and people came through, if this would have been on video, there would have been several pictures of my mouth wide open with, I'm sure, flies going, yeah, shut your mouth, because I was extremely taken back, in awe, absolutely in awe. This person, if you've heard of her, especially if you're in the Colorado area, Cleo Parker Robinson is a famous person that has her own dance ensemble, her own program. And I've seen her, her performance, and it was really incredible, but I didn't really realize the layers of this woman's life. And she was born during the 50s in 1948. And of course, there's a lot of racism. And when she was 10 years old, she and her family were in Dallas, Texas, and she was having kidney issues. And because it was a segregated hospital, they were not going to let her in and take care of her. And from that, it caused a heart condition at the age of 10.
This was only a few years before you were born.
I don't tell everybody that. Shut the up. Thank you very much. Yes,
but my point is, this is still recent.
And stuff is still happening. But when she turned 15, she got hooked on dance. And from that, she has become an avid dancer, which has helped her heart and has changed what she has done with everyone here in the world. And her shows have been in places like Iceland, Singapore, Nassau, Belize, Israel, Egypt, Turkey, throughout Europe and the African continents. This woman is pretty phenomenal. If I would have read her bio before I sat down with her, I'm not sure I would have been able to really trust what's coming through, because wow. And so I would like Dana to share some of these amazing things that she has been recognized for throughout the years. And I want you to be able to share that with us.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that honor. She is really just a fascinating person, a lovely woman. You meet her and you're just drawn in.
You feel like you're with a great celebrity, and she is, but that energy that she brings in, this amazing energy into the room.
Yes. So one of the things I wanted to mention first is that she received a Kennedy Center Medal of Honor during the center's Masters of the African American Choreographer series. So she has been recognized by the President Clinton at the time, which is really cool. And not only that, but let's see here. There's so many awards.
I know. I'm
looking at this list. And when you find out who she was connected to in life and who comes through to say hi to Miss Cleo Parker Robinson, and you're going to be like, oh my goodness. So 1974, the Colorado Governor's Award for Excellence. 1979, Denver Mayor's Award. She was inducted into the Colorado Women's Hall of Fame in 1989. Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts from the University of Denver in 1991. Let's skip like two or three. 2005, Kennedy Center Medal of Honor. Let's see, 2008, Civil Rights Award, Anti-Defamation League Western Chapter. 2011, Denver and Colorado Tourism Hall of Fame. 2017, Dance USA Honor Award. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on for Cleo Parker Robinson. And we're just honored to have her with us.
Google her.
Yeah.
and I, like I said in the very beginning, I am grateful that she was willing to do this on air, record, and share. And again, her name, yes, I had known, I'd heard, but didn't know anything. And I was in awe. The way people came through and she was, oh yeah, and started telling a story about that individual.
Her stories are fantastic.
Her stories are fantastic. And the readings were really her stories. And I kept going, so-and-so's here. So that's what we want you to listen.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
See who comes through.
So please take a few moments and listen to who comes through and the stories that we hear from Cleo Parker Robinson. Thank you. I am freaking excited. One of our dear friends that knows both of us put us together. Her name is Dawn, and she means a lot to both of us. And she just thought you and I connecting would be wonderful. And just having a few appetizers with you and talking, I feel like I've known you forever. I am with Cleo Parker Robinson. And if you've heard of her or have seen her or know her work, you have been graced by the universe. So she's allowing us today to be brave because she's never been to a meeting before, is to let me do a reading of the people in her life. And a snidbit is I'm a little concerned how many people she does know in the afterlife. So this would be 7 hours worth.
That's right.
So we made some jokes about Cleo the psychic and Mrs. Robinson. But it makes you remember your name, which I think is really beautiful. Right. And you are known for your company of dancers, and you've been a dancer, is what I understand. And I have been to one of your shows before this.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So you've had some losses, and you're open to hearing from these loved ones. Is there any nervousness? Are you excited? Are you feeling like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, right. All of the above. I'm like, okay, and where am I?
She feels pretty darn comfortable.
Yeah, I'm in Albuquerque at 1 a.m. And so now I'm going, and where am I now?
Where am I now?
And then all I said is, I'm in the right place.
Yes.
I feel like I'm in the right place. So thank you.
It's definitely,
it's an honor.
Well, I'm assuming everyone that you meet, you're like this. So this is your natural organic self. So we're blessed to be able to have you. And Dana too, we're just like, wow, we're really honored and privileged, right?
A little bit starstruck, I think.
Yes, I think so too.
Oh, no, I'm also the same. I know how extraordinary you are and what an honor it is to be with you.
Well,
and our friend has spoken so highly of you. And so I pay attention. I'm paying attention. She said, wait till you meet Deb, wait till you meet her. And I go, I'd love to one day. And she goes, like tomorrow. You can meet her tomorrow.
So we are here. And the one thing I do know about Cleo, the only thing is that there's been a loss of your husband. And so I know nothing about that. So I know he's going to be here. But as I was thinking about you today and getting ready, I felt strong mothers in your life. I felt a mother and a grandmother. I'm assuming it's on your mother's side. I don't know, but they were strong women.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like they went through difficult times, but they just, I feel like you've got a lot of your energy and your understanding and the way you see life from them. Is that making any sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And when you mentioned that, I was like, well, yeah. Well, because my mother comes to me as a dragonfly. And that was so weird that all these dragonfly messages came through. And the last night I was at Dawn's house, a dragonfly came in the house. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell Dawn that, my mother's present. But I was like, but that was
in our world, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Who had the chest issue with her health? Heart, lung, chest? Was this a mother figure too?
Yeah. Well, Mama she had breast cancer.
She had breast cancer. Yeah, okay. Is that what took her then?
Yes.
Okay. But she feels like a fighter. Like she's not the complainer.
Fighter.
Working hard. And I also feel that she was the one not to play the role of the victim.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like she gave you these tools to be a strong woman in life.
Oh, absolutely. Martha May.
Martha May.
Amazing. Yeah. I talked about her a lot yesterday, and it was so.
Maybe that's why she's here then.
No, I mean, she was really phenomenal. She was such a free spirit, but very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong.
And also, who's the big hugger besides you?
Oh, gosh. Oh, God, I don't know. It could be.
Because I just get that there was just so much love.
There was so much love. And she was just so loving. What I missed about her is that she would always kind of caress my hair. It's just kind of like that. But Mama was a big hugger. My daddy too.
Well, I was wondering if that was Dad. Did Dad die before Mom, a few years before Mom?
No, after.
Or after her, which is unusual for that.
Yeah.
Did he die of a broken heart, or was it really hard for him? Because I get that it was really hard for him after she passed.
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
And he always kept thinking he was going to have a heart attack all the time.
Okay.
all the time.
So it was a broken heart. Like he was worried about that piece. He feels more humble too. Was he like salt of the earth at times? If not, was this somebody else? Is it him?
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Did he believe that education was really important too?
Oh God, yes.
Because because
absolutely,
I feel that you've got to do your part. You can't just sit back. You've got to do that part. So I feel like that was part of him as well.
Yeah, and that's my father. And
is it your dad?
God. Oh yeah, he just felt like there was nothing more important than education.
He's showing me like he would like to dress up. So was he a person that would go to church, or what's the tie thing, or he didn't like wearing the tie?
Well, no, he didn't. He didn't like that.
So is this something, if he didn't like it, then that's what he's showing me. Like,
he didn't like to wear it. No,
I don't
he was always sharp. He was always sharp.
Dress sharp, but not the tie thing.
He didn't like the tie so much. But my grandfather dressed up and liked the tie.
Okay. So was that his father
or your father?
Okay. And I'm getting a sense of ministry, or a sense of not so much preaching, but a sense of community.
Oh yeah.
Was that Grandpa?
Yeah. Well, my
it doesn't fit as somebody else. I know you have a lot of people.
Like ooh la la. Yeah. Let me see who that is. You know, my father was heavy duty community, but called him my guru.
Okay, because I feel like that's not a preacher, but just really important to.
No. But my grandfather was a missionary, but very different. I mean, they were like night and day. That was his father, but very different in terms of the way they, but they both, community was really important to Daddy.
Oh.
But it was more,
so the minister was your grandfather.
Yeah, he was more of in the ministry.
And your father was more about the community.
Yeah.
And I feel like he really wanted to give strength to his community.
Yeah.
And be there. Yeah. And was he really recognized by a lot of people when he passed?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. He really was.
He was a missing piece in that community.
God, yes. Oh, yeah. He was the first Black actor in Denver.
Okay.
The first Black actor. And he was a fighter for women's rights. Like,
I love him. No wonder who you are. So you got a lot of this from your father.
Daddy. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Was he also a singer?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting the music. Untrained, but he knew how to sing.
Oh, he loved to sing.
And I'm getting.
Yeah.
Not so much soulful, which I'm sure that was part of it, but just deep in his heart is the way he did things too.
Paul Robeson was his role model.
Wow.
He sang.
So that's what the singing
sang like Paul Robeson. Is that deep?
I love it.
He really did love, he loved to sing. And I think I woke up with music every day.
How beautiful.
Because of both my mother and father, you know.
Because I get this art side of them, this creative side of them. And so your father was African-American.
Yes.
Was your mother?
No.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so what's interesting about this is the fact that during that time, how many years ago were they married? This was a hard time for them to be able to get through so much of the racism and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But their love was so powerful and so strong. I think that's the one thing I might have inherited that I love.
It's the love, the passion.
Yeah, but they went through many things. And Mama as a white woman, as a Caucasian, and in a community that she didn't really know. And, that was hard for her.
Absolutely.
But she was a trooper.
That's why I feel the strength.
My father called her Eleanor Roosevelt. That's why.
This is interesting.
That's why I was looking at that.
So
I looked at there and I said, Theodore Roosevelt. I went, no, I know Eleanor Roosevelt. I don't know Theodore. I don't know Teddy. You know what I mean? So that was weird.
On my wall is a quote from Theodore Roosevelt that says, "The man in the arena." So if you haven't heard of this, so we've only had this up here a couple of weeks. And so that probably is from your mom, and your dad.
She was like, he used to call her Eleanor Roosevelt.
And I'm
how
seeing
he felt
there.
About her. She was that strong.
Wow. Okay. Because I felt like, don't mess
strong,
with me.
My mama was strong, sweet, but strong. Yeah.
And you think about during that time, the meeting and taking the risk to be together is pretty, no wonder you have this amazing strength in you. You come from two parents that overcame so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you have a brother that's passed, or a brother-in-law, brother?
Yeah. Oh, I have brothers. And my brother who just passed.
Because I'm feeling that strength.
Yeah.
Okay. And he says that he was sick before he passed a little bit.
Yeah.
But he didn't take it seriously. I'm getting
No, he was It was absolutely terrible because he just felt like he didn't need to go to doctors.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do all that.
I'm fine.
That everything else would be taken care of. And we're thinking, are you crazy? You got to go to the doctor. You got to go to the hospital. He was just such a beautiful spirit, you know.
Absolutely. I feel that. And
yeah, Randy. Randy is.
He also feels like, I'm going to be taken care of. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm blinded to it too. Who was the alcoholic in your family or in your life?
Well, let's see. And maybe my father drank more than my mother. My mother didn't really.
Well, you and I drink more than that.
I know. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I just feel like there's someone.
But Daddy stopped really drinking. Okay. He smoked and he drank. That was the theater.
That's the thing.
That was
also what they did.
Well, the theater. He was in the theater. He was, every day and night in the theater, and he worked a zillion jobs. But that was the culture.
Yes.
He grew up in the jazz world. And
I love
that.
it.
It was all of that. So it was like, but when the doctor said, you need to stop smoking, he stopped the next day. And he'd been smoking packs of cigarettes.
Yes, he's telling me the non-filter, like the Camels or something like that.
Yeah, like Camels. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. He was serious about what kind of cigarette he would drink. And then, he would smoke. And then all of a sudden, doctor said, no.
He listened. And Randy didn't, but.
Yeah, but Randy didn't, but Daddy did, and that was kind of wild. But Daddy then cut his alcohol and he said, well, what, Doc, what about just a beer a day or something like that? And he says, if I watch the Broncos, I just have a beer.
Got to have a beer with the Broncos.
Yeah, right.
You got to have a
country. Beer with my Broncos. That would be the way.
Dana, her dad sounds like me, huh? Can I just have this wine?
Just for a month. Yeah, just
negotiating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did your dad ever act as he was a woman, like in a play?
He's done everything.
Because I feel like he took a role on to be a woman that was unusual during those times.
Yeah. He did everything. He broke the record and he was unbelievable because first of all, there weren't any roles for blacks.
100%.
And there weren't any roles for black men, especially unless it was a butler or
the traditional look.
Yeah. But he did.
Because I feel like he played roles just to get the acting to be able to do it.
You know what he did, though? He did something very, 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 that was on Channel 6. It was very famous. It was called, he played a junkie with one woman. Oh, yeah. It was really funny. Sarah and the Sax. And he always played it with one woman. Okay. And they were always Jewish women. Here he is, a black man, playing a junkie. And the Jewish woman, so Sarah and the Sax.
I have to watch that now.
It became a very famous, it was on stage all the time, but it also went into Channel 6 and Channel 12. And his lead ladies would kind of fight because they both wanted to go on, but it was only one woman that could go on.
Right.
And the Jewish Community Center would be packed to see my father play this role.
I love it.
And it was
so maybe he's talking about the one woman show.
One woman show. Yeah.
And women fighting for him is what he's thinking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Daddy. And he cared about women and their rights and their strength. And so he created an all-women tech team to teach women tech.
Wow.
So that we then would take those women around the country. He's
going to be remembered. Yeah.
And so
his book has to be written.
Well, that's what I was thinking about yesterday when I went, I got to tell my story. And I went, no, I got to tell my daddy's story. Then I went, no, I got to tell my mama's story. Then I went, well, we have to take time to share those stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
They fought for me. I was the oldest child. So they fought for me to find a sense of acceptance, to be accepted as a woman of color, of mixed race, at a time that didn't respect people who would get married that were mixed, that have different backgrounds, and also didn't respect women enough.
And you know what's sad is sometimes, even though we've made so much progress, we're still not completely where we need to be, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely not.
So the fact that your parents gave you that platform and foundation, and
they did.
And I know from what I know about you is that you empower other people. Which is beautiful.
Definitely.
So you've taken on that legacy.
Definitely. Oh yeah, I feel honored. I think that feeds me. I keep wondering, why do I keep doing this? And I think it is that you can see people become their best self, their greater self.
Because you believe in them.
Yeah.
I think your husband's here, but what's his name?
I did think so too. Right
Did you feel him?
Yeah, I did. I said, that's what he did.
Yeah.
That's what he did. Thomas Tom Robinson,
okay.
Thomas Edwards.
Who's Tom?
I called him.
Dana's son's name is Thomas, so we love that name.
Tom Robinson.
So I'm going to channel him. He feels like an incredible strength as well. Like you're not going to marry some man that needs to be taken care of. I feel like Tom showed up as a very much of an equal.
Oh, yeah.
And he's telling me that he believed in you.
Oh, absolutely.
From the very beginning. And were you not sure about him in the very, very beginning? Like, did he ask you out and you're like, I'm not sure? Or was there sort of some apprehensiveness about him?
Oh, he thought that the whole time we were together. I was always going, is this the right thing? Is this the right man? I'm like, you're only married 52 years.
So I guess it was the right thing.
It's like, Cleo, is this what you want to do? You know what I mean? Right. So yesterday was our anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary. On today?
Yesterday.
So it would have been 53?
52 years.
52 years. Okay. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
So we're going to celebrate both of you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. He believed in me and I believed in him. I mean, oh God, even though he was more sure of me than I was sure of anything I was doing. He was always sure, period. That was his the way he lived, and I was always questioning every moment and everything. And I think that was just wild.
Did you guys get married quickly, though? Did you date not very long?
Oh, we dated long. No, well, we didn't. I mean, we knew each other very long.
Okay.
But I don't know about that part of dating. I mean, we waited to get married when I was 21.
Okay. Oh, you were the baby.
Yeah, I was a younger one. Yeah, 21. But I met him early. I met him at 12.
Oh, no wonder you weren't interested in him dating at 12.
It was 12. I'm like,
that's a little young.
I started.
Was he actually 10 years older?
No, he was just 3. Yeah,
that's not very far.
Yeah, no,
it's just 3. I'm so
but
interested.
I think people felt he was much older.
It's so funny because I'm so engaged in her. I'm not even really tuning in. I'm just asking questions.
I love it. No, but he was older.
But don't share any details because
he's older. Okay,
let's see.
Older.
Let's see.
Okay, right. Okay,
first.
I just kind of feel like he knew early on, like, yeah, she's the one. And when you're that young, you don't know much. It takes a while to get on. But he's telling me he was also sick before he passed. Do you understand this?
Yeah, I do.
And he says that you really took good care of him. That you never complained, and you felt it was an honor to take care of him. And he says that you made sure everything smelled good and felt good, and that you made sure he felt still good with what's going on. And was there difficulty communicating with them at the very end? Because he wants you to know that he knows that you were there. And holding his hand and talking to him and all those things. And he said, was his service pretty big? Because I feel like he is overwhelmed about how many people were there.
I think we all are. I think we're like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, 10 days later, we have a service for him, and it's just
so 10 days later, maybe that's where the 10. So 10 days later after he died, you had the service.
Right. That's where the 10 is. Yeah.
Okay. Was it one of those feelings where it was like a continuous celebration? Like I feel people were trying to celebrate him often.
Yeah.
For different things.
Absolutely. That's wild. Yeah. That's true. That is true.
He said he's okay. And he is. Did you guys have a small dog that passed? If not, it might be an ugly cat. But
no. Our grandchildren had a dog.
Did it pass?
It did pass.
Okay. So he's got the little dog if the kids are worried.
Oh, absolutely, honey. Oh, yeah. Bonita. Oh, that's wild. And that was a while ago. But yeah, the dog, So they love their dog.
Absolutely. And who was, did someone work for the trains or work on the trains? If not, then there's another connection. Otherwise, is there a James name or a Robert connected to him? Who's James?
James is my sister's husband.
Is he passed?
Yeah.
So he's bringing through James. So when I see a railroad, it usually means that or their names. So Tom is telling me that he's there with James.
Wow.
And did James die before him? Okay.
Yeah.
And James is telling me that he's sick as well. He was sick as well.
Yeah.
What I feel with James is that I'm not sure if he really believed in a lot of this. He was not really sure about it.
That's true.
Okay, I'm not sure what's over there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Did he go into remission and then get back? Because I feel like he was doing okay, thought things are going to be okay, and then things turned around again to be worse. Okay. He says that your sister is more open than he was.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
all of that. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I feel like James may have been there for Tom, for your husband. And boy, you guys have lost a lot of people. Did someone lose a child too?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, James lost a child.
Yeah, Susie and James.
Okay. And Susie's your sister. Who's the child?
Oh, he was amazing. His name is Ian.
Ian. Okay. So Ian's with them as well.
I-A-N. He was amazing.
And he just feels kind and sweet. And did he die before James too? Okay. So he left, and then James, and then Tom. And I feel like, was Ethan's passing more unexpected?
Ian, oh, yeah.
Because I feel like they're not prepared.
Yeah, Ian, his death was tragic.
Tragic. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like suicide, but it feels tragic is what I'm getting here. Like an horrible accident or horrible thing that happened. And I'm getting here that it was also newsworthy, or there was parts of it that people knew about his passing. Does that make any sense? Oh,
gosh, yes.
Okay.
I mean, people, it's now 16 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Since the accident, and people still celebrate him.
Wow.
It's amazing what an extraordinary, he was like an angel, he
was an earth angel.
God. Yeah, he was.
He's also telling me that he was very talented.
Yeah.
How old was he when he passed?
He just turned 17.
So he's almost been gone as long as he was here.
Yeah, exactly. He was 17 on his way to go to college. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was really.
My head feels like there's an impact too. Was there an impact to his body as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And he's letting you know that he really, I don't feel like he survived long enough at all. Did he die at impact is what I'm feeling, or quickly? So he just says he didn't feel anything and just said, I think my mom's going to be upset that I'm not here anymore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, honey, absolutely.
And talented.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tom is coming through and talking about he was much more left brain. So was he more technical or left brain, things like that? Because I feel like you're obviously the right brain.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
What did Tom do? Because I feel like he also was known in his community for his work.
Yeah. He was a math teacher.
There you go.
He was a math teacher for 31 years.
Yeah, absolutely. That left brain.
He was a math teacher and a coach. And then finally, he worked for TASA, for Colorado High School Activities Association, bringing the officials together and all the different sports in the state. And it was wonderful. But he was I didn't know how his brain worked. I tried to understand it all these years.
You and I are right brain.
And he would even like it. He was so logical, but he was an official.
What I get with him is he liked teaching kids to have a purpose, like there was more, and made it fun. I'm not feeling this is a class you don't want to go to. He wanted to go and see him too.
Yeah, wonderful.
Is there some connection with him and China or Japan? Because he's showing me an Asian country or Asian. And if not, I don't know where might be someone else talking about this.
Well, we were going to do 15-city tour to Asia.
When was this?
Prior to that pandemic.
Oh.
We're on our way to
I'll go
15 cities,
Was this for work or for
our company?
For your company, okay.
Yeah, for our dancers. We were doing a 15-city tour to Asia.
In Asia, okay. So he may be bringing that up as that was one of the last things you guys thought about doing as a couple and do this. Because he was showing me the map of that.
Yeah, and maybe, we had to postpone it.
Of course. But is it going to come back up again?
I think so. Yeah, I think it is coming up. I think I think so. I don't think we were, with the pandemic it hit.
You can't.
I don't think we thought about it much more, but I think it's maybe saying it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Because maybe we really weren't ready for it. To be blessed that it didn't happen.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to ask Tom? You have a lot of other people here.
I don't know. I just
he feels like he had a very blessed life. And I don't feel like his life was always maybe easy.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel is like you and your parents, you just took it in stride and said, I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
When I see the newspaper, it usually means to me that he enjoyed knowing what was going on in the world, to be touched by it.
Oh, absolutely. He did. Yeah. He wanted to always know what was going on, and he wanted to be relevant. Relevant. Yeah. I think that's an extraordinary thing.
Absolutely.
To be relevant, that your work would make a difference, and I think he respected everyone, but I don't know. I think I wanted to ask him He was supposed to retire today.
On your anniversary.
Yeah, on June 1st. Well, yeah.
Okay.
But May 31st is our anniversary, and June 1st.
Okay.
He was to retire after 21 years.
Did he have a dry sense of humor?
He did.
Because he's laughing at me and go, why did I wait so long?
I know. I think so.
And
I think so.
That saying is, you retire.
That might have been the question.
Yeah, I think also retirement would have been a great thing, but I also feel like he liked having a purpose and getting up and making a difference in life.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He was driven.
Do you have the same house?
Yeah.
He says, why aren't you sleeping on the other side of the bed?
Ah, that's funny. All right. I don't know.
Are you sleeping on his side?
No, I'm on my side. But I think about I think him on the other side. I feel like he's
on their side.
I feel like he's on his side. And every time we go, we travel a lot. Every time I walk in the room, I go, okay, wait, what side did I sleep on? And he goes, Cleo, don't you know what side you sleep on? If I wasn't sleeping on my bed, I had to ask him what side is mine.
So this was a regular question he would ask. Okay, that makes even more sense too. I feel like all marriages have those ups and downs in life for sure. But I feel like you guys always showed up trying to make sure you both were heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And that you listened to each other's.
Yeah, I think we really did. He really. I didn't always think he was listening to me. I didn't always think he was listening to me. But I would hear him do speeches sometimes. The last speech I listened to the other day, and I listened to it, and it was so funny. He was doing an interview for Sports Illustrated.
I love it.
Sports magazine. And he says in the interview, they ask all the questions and how does he deal with 4,000 referees in different sports and all of that. And he tells very simply that it's all about how it's organized. And I'm going, he was very humble. But then he goes, and the interview finishes and they thank him. And then he goes, wait just a minute. He says, my wife is listening. And he says, and she's going to ask me why I didn't talk about the family. And he says, specifically her. And then he says, my wife is Cleo Parker Robinson. He says, you probably would want her to serve on this panel even more than myself. And then he says, I was his inspiration.
I love it. That's why I feel like this is, you don't find marriages like this.
Yeah. Oh, he was wonderful.
This was just, it's almost very heavenly that you guys,
I do
like you're an example of it.
Yeah.
Are there 4 kids? What's the 4 children?
Yeah. There were 4 of us. The 4.
You were one of 4.
I was one of 4, but later I find out I was one of 10. Later I find out I really wasn't one of 4.
But there's another 10.
There's another 10. There's another 9. Yeah.
So who had all these babies?
Well, we met my mother. See, because it was so racist during that time, in the 40s.
And did they live here in Colorado? Or?
No. Well, some did, but the 4 of us grew up. Me being the oldest, and they were 2 years apart. So my brother who died 2 years, and then the next 2 years my sister who is here, and then the next 2 years my other brother died. So
you have 2 brothers, passed,
2 brothers,
and a husband. Okay,
but the minister, as you go back, was my brother. My brother was a minister. He was a minister when he died. He really was.
Was that Randy?
No, it was Waylon.
Waylon. So you got that is a parallel with your other. Okay, so there's another.
So I'm like, I don't know who the minister was who dressed up every day because I knew it wasn't my daddy. And my daddy was like, no, we're not going to church.
No, because your dad said no. But it's interesting. Your family likes to talk all at the same time. Is that normal?
Yes, that's what they say. That's what my little sister said. I was quiet because who would try to get into these conversations?
And that's how they're showing that. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out who you are.
My daddy loved to talk. My father did. He loved to talk and we loved to listen.
Yeah.
But my mother.
He's more of a storyteller.
Yeah, he was a storyteller.
Which you'd like to listen to, a storyteller.
She loved to listen to him. Because I told Don as we were driving this morning, my daddy would bring us together at the table and wake us up and tell us about the script he was working on or a play or challenges or something racist that took place and then, whatever. Afterwards, we were all pretty young. I'd say, Mama, what did he say? And I said, I didn't understand all things Daddy's talking about. She said, honey, I didn't either, but I just loved it. I didn't understand, but I loved it.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Dana, is that me where I just talk and no one understands, right?
It depends on how fast you talk.
That's right. I'm trying to slow down here because Cleo's a great storyteller as well.
Yes, yes, she is.
Yeah.
Did Tom have the hip issue too?
Yes.
Did he have hip surgery, or because he's saying that he wanted to keep going, he didn't want age to affect him?
Oh yeah. Oh,
so I'm assuming he was an athlete, and
absolutely.
He said they both needed to be changed, and then also knee issues.
Oh yeah, he had both knees operated.
And he said he didn't like to complain.
Oh, he never did.
No.
Isn't that deep?
Yeah, like he doesn't get to complain. He's like, I know I need it. I'm just getting older, and I don't need anyone to take care of me. I'm here.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that deep? That's exactly. Oh yeah.
But a trooper through it all. Like, this is what you do.
That's exactly.
And
they never complained.
Absolutely. Ever. He's talking about, and I don't know what your husband looked like, but he's telling me he has a full head of hair.
Oh, wonderful.
So did he start losing his hair when he was here? Because I feel like
a little bit in the back.
Was it important for him to have his hair? Because I feel like he's doing this, like that was important for him to look good.
Oh, always.
Like he had to look.
Yeah. He was always. Oh, yeah.
And he says he was pretty charming.
He was. He didn't ever think it or say it, but everybody felt it. Yeah. Everybody.
I think they're drawn to him.
Yeah, they were. He was.
And I feel like he's this tall presence that you could see walking. Like he didn't demand the energy in the room, but he brought in the energy. You would go like, I notice you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I used to say wherever I was doing a concert, I would speak about him. And I wouldn't necessarily know where he was in the theater. And I'd say, my husband is here. And I said, the really cute one in the back. You can meet him afterwards.
That is so cute.
You were always looking for him. And I was like, yep.
So that's what he's like doing.
Yeah, right.
I want to look good.
Yeah.
But humble.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, very humble, but also I feel like he's not a force to be reckoned with, but a force of understanding. Like, I can do what I need to do. Whatever I say I can do, my word is my word, is the feeling I get from him.
Absolutely.
He says he was a close runner to Denzel Washington. Is that true?
Did he say that? Oh my God. I don't know. He was very humble. There might have been a lot of people who said it about him.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. He was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. Yeah,
he was so cute.
You see a little great energy from Cleo here about, fine.
Oh, he was fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how these individuals, he's bringing in some people here. I love this man. And he's a Black actor that died. And Sydney, thank you. Is there a connection to Cindy Poitier?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me, because he just brought through.
Oh my God,
Sydney.
I knew who you were going to say before.
Well, so you're
psychic.
My
God.
So what's the deal?
I don't know. I'm crazy. I'm a wild woman.
Me too. So what's the connection to him? Which I love, Sidney Poitier.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was his role model.
Seriously?
My daddy's role model.
So Tom is telling me he's there with Cindy Poitier.
Oh my God.
If that was his role model.
Wonderful. This is my father's role model.
Oh, your father's?
My father's role model. And my daddy and Tom adored each other. You know, they adored each other. They were very different.
He says they were connected to the hip.
Yeah, they're good. Oh, good. I thought they would be hanging out. I was like,
good food.
Right. It was good food. Yeah.
Good food.
Yeah, right. So Sidney Poitier was one of the first Black actors that I ever saw on television.
Wow.
But Daddy became really clear that this was the man who
was going to change
things. And then Daddy did his role. He did Raisin in the Sun and played the same role that Sidney did. And
Are you serious? I got chills.
And they said that he played it even better than Sidney Poitier.
That says a lot.
That's what, yeah. And that was
your daddy.
My daddy. Mm-hmm. And Tom was so different than Daddy, but he loved and respected himself. They respect each other.
Yeah, but there's a difference between, so you can be different, but also respect the differences too. Mm-hmm. Wow, Sidney Poitier. So I'm going to be saying that's in my,
Sidney Poitier. Yeah.
Beautiful man.
How does it feel channeling Sidney Poitier?
One of your
favorites too. Sidney came on.
Well, some of my favorite movies, of course, is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And then when he was the teacher, what was the movie that he was the teacher?
Mr. Tips.
Yeah, which I was probably the first movie I saw with him in it, which is just so beautiful. And of course, he played in The Heat of the Night.
Oh God, that was deep. My daddy loved that one,
especially because
I think Sidney Poitier gave Daddy the courage to do the work that he did.
It's
It gave
unbelievable.
him the courage to do it. And then I happened to work in the Bahamas and was at his home.
Are you serious?
I was with,
Did you meet him or?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then I became very close to him later.
Well, he's here to say hello.
Well, I love it. And I knew when he passed, I was just so blown by it. And,
Well, because he was an icon. He's an icon to our history.
Oh, God, yeah.
And to all people of color that
he broke beautiful.
He broke, some of the things that are still going on regarding that.
And he was best friends with Harry Belafonte.
Oh, I loved him too. We're bringing in some beautiful Black men here. Okay?
Absolutely.
Bring it on.
He was really
and
something.
the other one too. They're all just beautiful men.
Well, they worked so hard. They were movie stars, and they played an extraordinary role to change the way people saw Black men, because of course coming out of slavery and a really difficult history.
Sydney said that you.
Yeah.
Did he give you something from his house, or was there something in the room that you slept in?
Oh,
that you was there something important about the house or the room or some? That doesn't make sense right now. We'll see what comes back.
I came to see him for the Lifetime Achievement.
I feel like I'm with royalty right here right now.
Not at all, but he did not come to the suite. He got upset with Harry. They got mad at. They had an argument.
So it's that situation.
Yeah, and then I was waiting. We were having this grand party after the Lifetime Achievement.
So he didn't show up.
He didn't show up, and he didn't. And Harry was upset, and I had the suite all to myself. So I had a party with every bit of food and drinks alone, without Sydney and Harry and Julie and everybody else. And I said, "Well, what the heck? This is fantastic."
So he's probably apologizing for not showing up.
I know. I'm like, I wonder. Yeah, that was
could be
really.
it.
Yeah, is that the? Oh gosh.
So,
wow.
I'm gonna remember this. Remember the. What's it called? Yeah, the
Sydney Poitier.
He was the pack, the 5-pack, and he was
Frank Sinatra. Oh, you mean Sammy?
Oh, yeah. Why is he coming through?
Because he was another role model in the main. I think my father was a dancer, first, and that's where I got the dancing from. Because Daddy watched Sammy Davis Jr. and he was extra. So Sammy Davis Jr. was a role model for him too, because my father danced.
So your dad's bringing in a party.
He's bringing. My daddy wants me to know everything's all right.
I'm like, Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis was a dancer. He was a tap dancer,
and we realized we understand how a lot of the pack would not. They stood up for him most of the time. They really did, because it was still that kind of energy around that time.
And he was Jewish too. And I wore a Jewish Star of David because of Sammy. I was the black.
Okay, I'm in awe. I almost can't even read for her. I'm like, okay, who else is trying to breathe?
I know. I'm like blown.
I'm glad I've watched all these, Black men out there. I've known over my lifetime.
Sammy Davis.
Your dad is just like a party. Like your dad is. Just bringing back all these people that created a life for you too.
Exactly.
That were an impression on you.
Exactly. That's beautiful and deep.
Well, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Yes.
I'm overwhelmed that I've never thought about it. I mean, you have these things that have influenced your life.
Correct.
And you don't even think about it until you have those moments that went, well, absolutely. I know why Sammy Davis is there. and he used to come to 5 Points all the time. Yeah.
Seriously? Yeah, is that where you performed?
Well, that's where I was born. That's where I was born, in 5 Points.
And he would come there. What would he do there?
He performed. He was a great performer.
Did you watch him?
He was in the service. See, he was in the service and came to Denver to 5 Points. And
wow.
It was an extraordinary thing, yeah. And
I'm like a little bit blown away, so I'm trying to get grounded here. No, it's beautiful.
Well, I know of a couple others that might come through too that Miss Cleo mentioned earlier. So we'll see. But yeah.
Was there a nun in your life?
Mm-hmm.
And she's passed?
Oh, yeah.
There's a nun coming through.
Wow.
And I feel like you weren't Catholic.
Well, no, but I was going to be a nun.
Seriously?
I was.
You were going to be a nun?
I was.
At 13?
What? Yeah, no, before then.
Before you met Tom?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so tell me about this.
I wanted to be.
Okay, I am like in awe here. So you thought about being a nun?
I was going to be a nun from the age of 10 to 12. And then when I met Tom,
He reverted you.
I was like,
reverted you.
no. But, I called Tom St. Thomas because he was a saint. He was like a saint to me. But so I think Tom was closer to being like a priest than I ever was to being a nun. But
you probably past lives for a priest and a nun. And this time you said, we're going to be married.
Forget this.
We're having legal sex, okay?
There's no celibacy here.
Honey.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went to a Catholic school in Dallas, Texas. The nuns were, they were amazing to me. They were mystical to me.
Wow.
There was a mystique about them.
There was the one that's coming through is a younger one because we see nuns sometimes a lot older.
Yeah,
this one feels pretty like younger, like maybe 18 to 20.
And I'm trying to think about who they are.
And if you don't, that's okay.
It was I have a girlfriend that I just saw, and she was telling me because there were very few black nuns. See, we were all white. We were in a black school with all white nuns,
of course,
and that was deep. That was pretty deep.
Was there an Elizabeth or a Beth?
My sister, whose daughter just passed like a few days ago, her name is Elizabeth.
Oh, wait a minute. So is this Susie?
Now my Susie is here, but Elizabeth is passed. My sister Elizabeth.
Your sister Elizabeth. Okay.
Yeah, my sister Elizabeth.
She may be popping in during this reading.
Yeah.
So she just passed?
Her
daughter just passed. What's her daughter's name?
Crystal.
Okay. I'll see if I can tap into
her. But
her.
Elizabeth got her a lot yesterday. Yeah.
So that
she was a very extraordinary sister. She was deep. I didn't get to grow up with her because when I said there were 10 of us,
right? There
were 4 of us, but I didn't know that I had 2 sisters that were born before me in California, my mother's daughters.
Okay.
Elizabeth
all
and
these
Mary.
Secrets.
Well, they had to.
Yes.
During that time, which is unfortunate.
Correct.
And we didn't get to grow up with them.
Okay.
Elizabeth.
Oh, so Elizabeth was
in California.
Got it. Okay.
But Elizabeth was, if she was now the younger one, the one you might be talking about is Crystal. I don't know a nun young one.
It's okay. I
was so young
when it happened
that I'm trying to remember
the feeling I get is that she was sort of like a role model to think I can do that too.
Yeah.
So she may have just looked younger. She could have still been 40, but younger than the other nuns too.
So the nuns were amazing. The nuns taught me how to tap. Can you believe it?
Wow.
This is before the funny
tap
movie.
Dancing nuns.
The
this
funny
is
movie with Whoopi.
We go over. That's why I went there.
Right before that came out.
Yeah.
The nuns really taught me how to tap and twirl batons.
I twirled a baton.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did a nun.
But I'm not coordinated enough. These nuns were also an influence to you.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
So all these people that have been part of your journey are basically showing up to honor you and what you've done.
That's wild.
Is that cool?
Oh my God. But I'm going to be so like the nuns. I forgot about the
Crystal's
nuns.
telling me that she was sick though.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sick before she passed.
So she had I didn't get to see her because I was trying to take care of my own grief.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was so sorry. I was so sorry I could not be. I got all the images yesterday from the funeral and everything.
Oh, so she just passed.
She just passed.
Okay, and probably another 10 days.
Yeah, oh my God, it was wild.
Because I just feel like she was struggling.
She had breast cancer.
So like your mom.
Yeah, like mom.
So she mom. Okay.
Isn't that neat? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I also, there's 2 other people that you kind of talked about earlier and I just made you stop talking because I didn't want to, but I do feel them here. And so one of them would be Martin Luther King. And he says to me that you actually inspired him.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Oh my God.
I don't know what you said or what happened, but he said that he's a speaker, right? He's one that's always doing the speaking, but he said when he sat down with you, the feeling I'm getting is he listened to what you had to say. Do you remember this conversation at all?
Well, I remember most of my conversations with Yolanda. Real
that's
conversations.
His daughter.
His daughter.
Okay.
And with Coretta Scott King, his wife.
Okay.
And where I met him was in Denver. And I remember meeting him. I had to stand in line such a long time, but I was young. I was probably in high school, right
I know
before
what he's saying. He says the things that you said to his daughter and his wife, they listened to.
They did. And we felt like, so I knew this. I knew I would carry his values and his mission.
So you listened to him.
Yeah. But I think he knew that I would carry his principles within my company all my life. I really knew that Dr. King would be a part of us. I was honored with Reverend Abernathy, which Reverend Abernathy was with him when he was killed.
Okay.
And so was Dr. Vincent Harding. And I was with Jesse Jackson. So I was with all of those that were with him when he died.
Wow.
And so I think that I've been close enough to feel the power of his life and his death. And I speak about him all the time.
Of course. So now he listens to her talk about him.
Right.
Like, I listen to you, so now I understand. He hears you.
Oh, God, that's beautiful. Because everybody who has a birthday, I sing the Dr. King's song that Stevie Wonder sang.
Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do.
Another marvelous human being.
I know, Stevie Wonder, I tell you, but I always feel like we carry the principles of Dr. King and I. I got to celebrate. We were chosen to open his first celebration for Dr. King Day.
Seriously.
And so
I'm having trouble channeling right now, just so my listeners, because I'm like,
just keep saying seriously.
So I was with him. I talked to him. I talked to him.
So he's saying he listens to you. That's what it is.
I love it. In Atlanta. I love it. That's beautiful. Well, I listen to him. I'm for sure. I mean, it's just, and he speaks to us. The last piece that I created, many of my pieces have his voice in it. And I forgot that his voice is in the work that I created.
Are you kidding me?
I know, I forgot. And then when I'm watching my work and I go, oh God, how did I do that? And then I went, because I hear him. I hear him.
Well, he is important for our history.
I hear him.
And unfortunately, he's not here, but you're keeping his legacy alive.
I pray so. Through the dancers and through the work.
Are your dancers of all cultures, or is it primarily African American?
Well, it's always been everything. It's always been everything. It's always been that I knew, and I think this is from Dr. King. This is really what I knew, that we had to bring a message of love of all people, all conditions. But we also had to love ourselves.
Absolutely.
And we have to start with self. And whatever that is, whatever we are, whatever our ancestors are, we have to love that. It's our inheritance. We have to understand it. And then we have to carry a sense of pride about it. And I think I learned that. I learned that from him.
I think you've learned. I mean, obviously, you have a lot of people here that have been part of your path.
I mean, a whole lot of folks showing up.
Yeah, I love it.
That's amazing.
The other one I'm getting, and I can see her name, but I'm not able to pronounce it this very second. But she's the author, Maya. There we go. And
she worked for Dr. King.
Oh, did she?
Oh, God, yes.
I didn't know that.
Right. Well, she worked for both Malcolm X. Malcolm was murdered first, and then Martin
afterwards,
and it devastated her. She was working in Ghana, and she was coming home because at that point, Malcolm. So our son is named Malik, which is Malcolm X's name.
Really? Well, no wonder.
That gave me chills.
Yeah, no wonder he's showing up.
Right. So for me now, I feel like Malcolm is like really deeply too. So I had this peacemaker in my mind, but I was also radical, like Malcolm X, in the sense that we cannot be passive and wait for change.
I agree.
And I think that's the beauty I learned from both of them together. And I created a work with both Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and it was pretty amazing. But when I do create, they do come through like that.
So you're channeling them.
I do. They come through, and I just have to listen.
You're channeling them.
I just have to listen.
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right. So everybody's seen them separately.
What she feels for me is her writing was because of her pain.
Oh yeah.
Like she was able to write yin and yang, a little bit of both sides of something.
I love Maya.
Did she give
love her so much.
A robe or silk or did she give you a piece of
God.
I keep getting like a wrap or silk.
God.
Do you know about that? It feels physical, like material.
Well,
and you don't have to think about it now.
I have to see what that. Yeah. And I don't even know where it is.
That's okay.
A scarf, a beautiful scarf. And I have only 5,000 scarves. So now I'm going to go back and go, where is my scarf? My God.
Was it hand painted or? Because it feels like it's.
Oh, God. Let me see.
Maybe it was even from Africa or something, but I just feel like it's one of these, like you could make it an art piece.
Wow. I have to.
5,000 scarves.
I know I have so many scarves.
That's okay. She's not making you feel guilty. She's just having you remind you.
Oh my God, yes.
Because I'm giving you something.
That's just a validation.
It's just a validation. That's all it is.
I'm just trying to remember. I just feel like she gave me. She gave me so much.
And you have so much.
She gave me so much. I felt really at the moment that, she treated me like a daughter when I was there with her trying to create. And Tom actually sent me there. It was sort of like all of the time we were trying to work together, it just didn't work. It just wasn't working. And I was petrified, like, Dr. Biangelo wants to work with me and I'm scared. I'm like, oh no, how did this happen? So sometimes you walk away from something that could be absolutely wonderful because you don't think you're ready.
Right.
And I
agree.
I certainly didn't think I was ready.
Yeah.
But my husband being just watching and just saying, well, she came to Denver to meet with me about how we would work together. But her bags were stolen. And so.
What?
Yeah, her bags were all missing. So right when we get to the airport, we were getting ready to sit down. She goes, I'm sorry, Mrs. Robinson. She called me Mrs. Robinson.
If some of you are too young,
Mrs. Robinson.
There's a movie from our childhood.
She called me Mrs. Robinson. And I'm thinking, oh my God, whatever. Yes, Dr. Angelo.
Yeah. These are people in your life, but you still respect them with their titles.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But then Tom.
So did you give her your scarf so she could wear it?
I didn't have anything. I was like, I probably, I brought her gifts.
Of course.
I brought her gifts and she gave me gifts. But the greatest gift was when we were working in North Carolina. Winston-Salem, where she was a professor. We would of course have our rum together.
I love it.
We definitely had to start with our rum.
You're the Bahamas.
We had to have a little, we had to have a little libation.
Absolutely.
But what we would do is on Sunday morning, we'd go to church and she would hold my hand and the holding of my hand in church. And then we would leave the church with all of these extraordinary people. And she'd say, meet my sister.
Oh,
meet my sister. Mm-hmm. And she'd say, my sister. So she would call me a sister. And I felt like, oh my God. I'm sure she called everyone her sister.
No, I don't like that.
But no, she was very special.
Hard for you.
So I've been doing her work for 40 years.
To think of all these people that are coming through today that you've worked with and honored and you bring into your art. Is that not beautiful that they see
that
it?
Is just so wonderful. Oh my God.
This is amazing for me. I'm in awe. I'm having a difficulty.
My God, to think Maya is here. I was at her funeral and it was horrible too. I could barely breathe. To think that we were going to live without her.
Mm-hmm. Well, all these people that are
absolutely
big icons for
our
country and the world.
And Oprah did such a beautiful job. She loved her. And of course, Maya loved Oprah.
Oh, absolutely.
That was her daughter. In spirit, really it was. Mm. And to be in Maya's home and to understand the kind of issues that they had to deal with as Black women, and what we had to deal with, and what was so important is the woman's circle, to be able to have a sacred circle like what you provided.
I love providing that sacred place. Yes, absolutely. She's also saying that her house had its own story.
Mm.
So I feel like
did it ever? I have chills.
I feel like when you walk in, you're like,
oh, did it ever? Did it ever?
So what was her house?
Okay.
So tell me about the story about her house.
Oh my God. Well,
are you enthralled too?
I'm soaking it all in.
Yeah. I'm going to need some wine soon. That's all I got to say.
Oh,
okay. Libations, as my new friend says.
Libations.
Wow.
So was her house eclectic? Like she had just stuff that just was, it feels deep and
her house
stories.
Was so beautiful. She was an artist.
Okay.
I mean, and she loved art.
And she says her backyard was
a museum.
She says it was a place of sanctuary.
It was. But you know what I love about it is that, let me bring in Dr. King again.
Okay.
And speak about it. Because
he was a humble man too, I feel.
Oh, God, yes.
Because, I know him as speaking and trying to make a change and being, part of the political arena and knowing he took a risk. I mean, when Obama became president, I was so excited, but I was worried.
Oh, God, yeah.
So worried.
We knew.
Yeah, we all were concerned. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So did Dr. King come into her home or?
Oh, yeah. Dr. King's. She loved Dr. King. I mean, she was going to be his West Coast manager and speak, bringing everybody on the West Coast in California. She was bringing all the folks in California and the West Coast, bringing them together.
She's joking. There were just too many hippies, though.
That's right, maybe so.
Too many hippies make a commitment.
Right. Well, he got assassinated right then. I think everything was really difficult for her to figure out what that was for her then.
Well, what do you do with it? I mean, you're part of a movement. And
then the leader is murdered. Mm-hmm. And it's tragic for the whole world. Mm-hmm. And for the whole world to see and to look at us as a country that would not speak what we were saying was important. Mm-hmm. We have to speak our truth. We have to do that. If we want to be a leading country. And that's what Miss Dunham was concerned about. Miss Dunham, oh my God. Oh God, Miss Dunham came through. Oh my God. Oh.
Who's Miss Dunham?
I said Miss Dunham, but it was really Maya Angelou.
Okay.
But when I was in the house, I would talk about Miss Dunham. So you asked me about the house.
Okay.
So
the unusual house.
So what was unusual about her house?
Or story.
Was that in the backyard was Ed Dwight sculptures. And Ed Dwight created the most important king sculpture in the front of Morehouse.
Whoa.
And that's when Dr. King spoke to me the most when I was there.
Okay.
It was really deep. After
he passed.
After he's been killed.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of things that were triggered after assassination, after that.
She says there's a little thing broken on the statue.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Is he sitting in that statue?
Well, I have to tell you something funny about the statue.
Okay, maybe that's what I feel like there's something about the statue.
Well,
maybe something's broken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the statue that was in Maya's home was built. It's a bronze.
Okay.
By Ed Dwight, who is our artist in Denver.
Okay, I'm going to have to look up. And still alive. So we can't channel him. Okay.
No, but Ed Dwight I was with him at his studios in Denver as he was creating some of these extraordinary sculptures.
Okay.
But he made the sculpture that's at City Park now of Dr. King.
Okay.
But what was broken was the first sculpture that was done by Ed Rose. People were not happy with. They didn't like, there were things that were not quite right about it.
It didn't look right.
And they stole the statue in the middle of the night. And so therefore then Ed Dwight creates the new statue.
Okay.
He creates a new statue. But Maya loved Ed Dwight, and he was our personal friend. So when I would sit out in the backyard and I would love to storytell with Maya, with Dr. Angelo, and she would love my stories about Ed Dwight. Then she would tell me more intimate stories about Dr. King. And I felt how blessed we are to have had people who care so deeply about everyone, all people. And they would do it either in their music or in their dancing or in their sculpture.
Well, the whole thing about the slavery was how music and all that brought them together.
Absolutely.
It helped them stay connected and brought, from what I've understood.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it was something to bring their souls up.
Well, my grandmother, you spoke about my grandmother when I walked in the door. And my grandmother was a slave.
Wow.
My grandmother.
She's talking about, was it tobacco?
Oh.
Do you know what kind of slave or where she was?
Well, she was in Texarkana, Arkansas. She was in that area.
So we'll have to see, because I was seeing corn husk.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Corn husk. I don't know if it's corn.
Well, she wouldn't tell us much about it.
Okay.
It was very secretive.
Absolutely. You don't want to go back to that story.
Nobody. But she was one of the first women welders in Canada.
Your grandmother.
My grandmother, the woman who was the slave.
So when are you going to be writing the story?
There we go. Okay, Dot and I talked about it. She goes, okay, you have to write this.
Absolutely. I'm just sitting here amazed at everything.
I know.
So your grandmother was a welder then?
Yeah, she was.
But she's saying she wasn't a riveter. So you know the women for the. Do you know which ones I'm talking about? The women, mainly men that went into war. The women got the jobs as the riveters. But she says that's not her.
No. She had the big welding. I think big welding.
My dad was a welder.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she never told us this until.
Women didn't weld.
Yeah. She said I was the first woman welder, and she was so proud.
No wonder I felt the strain.
No, we didn't know. I mean, and to go from slavery
to that
to to being some, and she was a businesswoman. You know, it was about owning land then.
Oh yes, well, still is, right?
And owning land.
But as a Black woman,
and I was named after her. I was named after Mama Cleo.
I love that.
But later I find out she's not my real grandmother.
But she was in spirit.
But she was. I took care of her. I knew she was proud of me, and I loved her. And I was named after her, and I knew no other grandmother. I never met
You don't need to name.
I never met my biological grandmother. Yeah. But that was so.
I'm more impressed with Cleo.
I know. She was something else. She was a fiery woman.
I love it.
But she never drank. I think that's unfortunate.
Maybe a little bit of it would have been helpful.
When you said tobacco, she smoked all of it.
Okay, maybe I'm getting that.
She smoked all the time.
But no drinking.
But never had a drink.
Because I'm seeing tobacco.
I know.
So maybe she rolled her own cigarettes.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
That's what they did then, too. They did that. So to wrap up here for a second, I am, first of all, overwhelmed by the love of you and all these wonderful people that have touched not only your life, but have made a change in all of our lives, which is pretty incredible.
God, thank you.
But what do you want to add? Tom says, I still love you. You know that.
He's such a sweetheart.
Anything you want to ask him or tell him? Because I know this is the primary reason. I really like Tom, but really all these other people are pretty darn cool.
Oh, God.
Obviously, they're having a party.
Oh. I asked him, why did you leave me? Why did you leave me when I knew you need to retire and that we would have time together? Because he worked so hard. He didn't see himself as dying. I don't feel that. I feel like it was just not like Randy, where Randy was in denial. Yeah. Tom just feels like it's not going to end. Yeah.
That's my feeling. Yeah. And we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
What did he pass from?
Well, he had.
I want to share. I keep getting my lip. Yeah, okay. I kept getting down here, but it spread.
He had, and then it spread to his liver.
Yeah, it started getting liver. But he says I didn't drink. Like it wasn't because
he never
of
drank.
Yeah, not from that.
No, I made up for that.
Yeah, I love you.
No, he never.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I feel like it.
No,
that was like
it was shocking.
Liver. It was
shocking. I think it was so shocking, and I think I wanted him to forgive me. To forgive me for wanting him to live in such pain. I mean, I wanted him to live longer.
Absolutely. Because you loved him.
I wanted him to be, I felt guilty because we'd been together for 60 years and I wanted more. I wanted some more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should.
But then I realized that I kept wanting a miracle, when they're in that state of.
I also feel like he's telling me the doctors in the beginning weren't as aggressive as they could have been.
I know. Yeah.
He says there was part of it that because he looked healthy.
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
That they didn't think it was as serious as it really was. So I feel like they were a little passive is what he's telling me.
So that's right.
Because you can live with colon cancer.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
But I think what destroyed his spirit, I think that was that the cancer doctor who did gave him, I was 3 years ago, really said to him, if you take out your rectum, if you do the ostomy bag, and I'm going, what?
Yeah.
And he agreed to it, and I'm going, I don't know that this is the best way. I said, but it's you have to, and he did all the research and did all the work. Of course, he did like that, and he got through it, and it was amazing. 2 days after he had this major 12-hour surgery.
Wow.
He was talking to other referees about what they needed to do, and I'm going, who are you?
Always the teacher.
Who are you?
Always the teacher.
And concerned about
everybody
their welfare. And
I wonder who else is like that that's sitting right next to me.
No, that's what it was.
I
learned a lot from him. And I think just knowing he's with me. I mean, because I sometimes feel like I'm going to be lonely as hell out here without you. I've never been without you. First of all, I've never been alone.
Right.
And so that part of I'm alone. And why did you leave me? At first I was
Absolutely.
like, why did you leave me?
Well, there's always time to be a nun.
Yeah, but I could be the nun that I thought, yeah, right. I am not. No.
You know, and it is because you are so vibrant and he was so vibrant. To think of it an ending is not fair.
I felt like it wasn't fair because I think when finally in September, he gets another ostomy and I'm going, oh my God, he gets another colonoscopy where he's going to be tested and they go, you're cancer free. So when he heard you're 100% cancer free because you did all that, and then for him to learn that several months later that he's having strokes like mad, and then he has liver cancer stage 4. He was a logical man. He was like,
this isn't logical.
This is not logical. So I think it destroyed his thinking.
The ego.
Thinking.
To me, the ego is about having the will. And maybe instead of Randy, it was your husband where he had that window where he thought everything was going to be okay. And then it came back like Montezuma's revenge. Because I kept seeing a lull.
That's what happened.
There was a lull.
That was time.
Yeah.
That was time.
And
absolutely.
He thought that cheer, like, I'm gonna conquer this.
I think that's different than my brother. I think you're right. That's Tom because I think everyone thought.
Normally I'm on target. Your storytelling.
I mean, no,
distracted.
No, I'm out there. It. But I do think that everyone after that cancer thought that he was never had to face that again. And the fact that they gave him a job to oversee all the officials in the Big 8 and the Big 12. I mean, he was a major man.
He was, yeah.
And he told them, he said, I remember when he got the cancer, he spoke to them and he said, I know you're considering me for a top position. He said, but first of all, do you know I just had cancer? And number 2, do you know how old I am? And they laughed and they said, well, why don't we come back to you in a couple of months and you can tell us whether or not you can take the job. And then in April of 3 years ago, he says to me, well, I have the job. And I'm going, I don't want you to have that job. Are you kidding?
I want you to retire.
But he loved it, but he didn't retire.
Do you know what he's telling me? It kept him going for 3 years. That if he wouldn't have been working, it would have probably gone sooner.
Yeah.
It kept him like a purpose and a distraction.
It was a purpose.
And a distraction.
And he did it so beautifully. Yeah. Well, I feel like he's present.
With an entourage, obviously.
With an entourage. I mean, if he's with my daddy.
Yeah, with all of them.
And then it's so funny when you said they're having a party because Tom would say something. I mean, he would wake me up in the morning, he would whisper. Everything was whisper.
Mm-hmm.
Cleo, blah, 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 blah. It was so sexy. Cleo, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd go, who is that? I was just talking to you. I'm like, who is that? But he would tell me all kinds of things. And then we'd get back together after we did all of our things that we did.
Right.
And then he'd say, so how was your day? And I go, it wasn't anything but a party. And so
that's the party that you're giving. That's the party.
But I just, he was so good to me and took care of me. I think I just worry that I'm like, well, how am I going to have the things that he did that are important to do? But I feel like if he's with me,
he's with
he.
And the entourage.
Yeah, the entourage. Isn't that
that's
something?
Beautiful. So I can't tell you how grateful I am for you to share your story and to bring through some amazing people.
Well, I just didn't even know they were present. Oh, God, I'm so grateful.
Me too. Thank you so much. And I know we have more to talk about, but thank you. Thank you for everyone joining Spirit and Straight Talk.
This is
beautiful.
That was awesome, Deb Sheppard.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Cleo.
Yes, thank you, Cleo. So we want you guys to know that Cleo Parker Robinson, her tickets are always on sale. She has many performances. You got to check out her website. It is cleoparkerdance.org. Check her out, grab some tickets, and we'll see you at her next show.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope it inspired you. If you enjoyed our conversation, make sure you subscribe so that you get notified of new episodes. And let's get connected. Visit debsheppard.com for more insights, support, workshops, and a book a session with me. And finally, always remember, your loved ones in spirit are just a thought away. Even though they're on the other side, they're always by your side.